Due to mature subject matter, viewer discretion is advised.
Jealous that we're taking over?
You're not taking
Yeah,
over.
mate.
What
are you not doing here?
Why are you I've got to be Muslim to come to Luton.
Whoa!
Muslims will take over. What?
This is Birmingham in the 1960s, a quaint little city in central England full of farmland, churches, and a bustling city center that enjoyed a very low crime rate and picturesque, historic streets. Flash forward a few decades. These images aren't from Iran, Iraq, or Afghanistan. No, this is modern-day Birmingham. A new report shows native Britons are on their way to becoming a minority in their own homeland. The latest demographics from Birmingham reveals that nearly half of those in the UK's most multicultural city are migrants or foreign-born. Experts say that white Brits will soon be outnumbered as the city continues to swell with residents from Africa and the Middle East. There are people from roughly 200 countries living in Birmingham, and some 50,000 of them don't speak any English at all. Immigrants make up 60% of Birmingham's growth over the last decade, but have also brought with them a massive spike in crime. Over the last few years, Muslim migrants have created areas of Birmingham known as no-go zones, places where non-Muslims are not welcome. This racist message was spray-painted on a wall in an inner-city ghetto of Birmingham in August of 2017. Native Brits say that it's a sad truth these areas are here to stay, and claim that many migrants have no intention of integrating or becoming British. Government officials say that similar graffiti has appeared in other areas in recent years, condemning the hateful vandalism, but taking no action against it. A recent government survey found that white residents in Birmingham feared for their safety and said parts of the city were now off limits. In fact, the city has become the so-called capital of jihadism in England. 1 in 10 of the UK's convicted Islamic terrorists comes from Birmingham. One journalist who visited the city, Ross Kemp, said Birmingham is so violent he has to wear the same body armor he wore in Syria for protection. Yet despite extensive evidence, Birmingham's government is turning a blind eye to the problem, instead calling the city a symbol of multiculturalism. Local leaders admit they're afraid of being called racist, and so they actively avoid getting involved in the city's growing jihadist movement. However, other politicians warn the Liberal City Council won't go after the immigrants because most Muslims vote for the Liberal Party. Local Christians and churches have been crowded out as well, with one main street, Ladypool Road, now home to over 22 mosques. Also on the rise are cases of children being sexually exploited by gangs of Muslim men, usually from Pakistan. Local counselors and experts warn that parents are being kept in the dark about such dangers, with the Birmingham Council refusing to alert parents to the situation. And in case some claim this problem is just limited to Birmingham, London, which has also seen a surge in immigration from Africa and the Middle East, just reported a 20% spike in cases of rape. Acid attacks, once unheard of in England but common in India and the Middle East, are also on the rise, along with a 30% increase in murders. Police say they're baffled by the sharp increase, despite a shocking 84% of child grooming and rape cases in the UK involving gangs of Muslim men. Experts predict native white Britons will be a minority in their own country by the year 2050. But far from a multicultural paradise, British cities like Birmingham and London show that this kind of unchecked immigration simply fuels conflict, as migrants refuse to integrate and radical Islam takes hold. With politicians who protect the guilty simply for votes, and police so afraid of being branded racist that they won't tackle the issue, the government is creating ghettos rife with crime and Islamic extremists.
The FBI has arrested a Cleveland area man in connection to a 4th of July terror plot.
A 30-page complaint detailed how Demetrius Pitts wanted to carry out the attacks. The feds say he not only wanted to have bombs explode at Cleveland's 4th of July celebrations. but also at a church, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and other beloved Cleveland landmarks.
He looked for locations to park a van that would be packed with explosives. He talked about taking targets like St. John's Cathedral off the map. And just yesterday, he discussed giving remote control cars packed with explosives and shrapnel to the children of our military uniform members.
Pitts allegedly wanted to hit Philadelphia. The affidavit said a map with multiple landmark targets was also found. Agents say Pitts thought he was meeting with another al-Qaeda sympathizer, but it was really an undercover FBI agent.
The undercover and Mr. Pitts had a lengthy conversation. Pitts again, on his own, expressed his allegiance to al-Qaeda, his desire to participate in a terror attack on July 4th in Cleveland, Ohio.
Pitts remains locked up, awaiting trial.
A pride parade in Marikina, just east of the Philippines' capital of Manila, got a refreshingly heartfelt surprise June 30. Members of the Church of Freedom in Christ Ministries gathered together at the parade holding signs that offered apologies for how Christians have treated the LGBT community. One banner said, "Jesus didn't turn people away, neither do we." Another read, "Can we hug you?" 19-year-old Jamila Salvador shared photos of the banners on Twitter. Thousands around the world were touched by the church's message. One user said, quote, "This is progress, a step in the right direction." The church has attended pride marches for 4 years now as part of their campaign, "I'm Sorry." The purpose is to apologize on behalf of Christians who have hurt the LGBT community through their actions and words.
Tonight, the actions of 2 Portland State University police officers under investigation after a man was shot and killed as he tried to break up a fight. Family saying this is Jason Washington, seen in cell phone videos, trying to calm tensions between a friend and a group of men early Friday morning. Here you see the gun in his holster. He falls and the gun tumbles to the ground. As he reaches for it, police shout, then shoot multiple times.
I understand the guy has a gun and you don't know, but still, we didn't feel threatened with the guy with the gun. He was a cool guy. Nothing was going to happen.
The sheriff's office there telling ABC News Washington did have a concealed carry permit.
Let's go, baby. We got this.
Just hours earlier, Washington, who was a Navy veteran, happened to talk to our ABC affiliate K2 as he and his friends watched the College World Series.
Now we be champions tonight. Let's get ready to be champions, all right?
Near the scene this weekend, one of his daughters writing, "I love you, Dad. You didn't deserve this."
We've all seen it. Traffic jams, frustration, tempers, and then one person goes from 0 to full throttle mad. Just this week in South Florida, a man losing it, standing in the middle of the road, squaring off with his car, punching the front. The driver tries to back away. He chases the car down, throwing himself onto the hood. Nearly half of all drivers surveyed admit they have experienced some form of road rage. Major Jeff Goodwin of the Colorado State Patrol is fighting the uphill battle against an army of hot-tempered motorists.
I used to think it was something like people cutting you off. But you know, one of the things that people really get angry about, if somebody honks the horn at you because you've sat too long at a light, I think they literally go from the Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde.
It could be any of us. Take a look at these guys in business attire brawling.
A new study by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention found American farmers are committing suicide at an alarming rate, more so than any other occupational group. The study pointed to the fishing, farming, and forestry industry and said the suicide rate is 84.5 for every 100,000 people. That's more than 5 times that of the population as a whole. According to a report on CBS, difficult access to health care in rural areas and extreme weather conditions impacting crops are to blame for an increase in farmer stress. Farmer income may also be a reason to blame for the increase in suicides. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the annual income among farmers has been dropping steadily since 2013. In fact, the average farmer's income is expected to be 35% below its 2013 level for this year.
Almost half of Germans now want Chancellor Angela Merkel to resign. Her coalition government could collapse if she doesn't get the right EU agreement restricting the number of migrants entering Germany. President Trump tweeted that the people of Germany are turning against their leadership over migration. Trump was mocked for also tweeting that Germany's crime rate is up, although official figures show it's at a 30-year low. But violent crime in Germany is up, and it's because of migrants. 1,000 Europeans have now been injured or killed in terrorist attacks involving migrants since 2014. And Germany has been targeted with terror plots more than any other European nation, by a wide margin. The rebellion against the European Union's migrant policy has now spread to Italy. Italy's new interior minister says, if someone in Europe thinks that Italy should continue to be a landing point and a refugee camp, they are mistaken. 4 of the immigration rebels, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, and Poland, refused to participate in the EU Summit on Migration. The rebellion has also spread to the grassroots in Sweden, where one poll shows the anti-immigration Sweden Democrats with a clear lead heading towards September elections, with some asking if Sweden is about to have its Trump moment.
Sweden's refugee policy has imported crime, terrorism, and a lot of refugees that experts say are uneducated and unemployable.
Swedish security expert Magnus Norell.
If you live in Stockholm, in certain areas of Stockholm, you never see this. You don't have to see this. But in smaller communities, in smaller cities, you can't avoid it. And there is where the change will come.
And change is coming to a number of nations in Europe.